I grew up on a small dairy farm that had been in my family for generations. My dad used to say the land had good bones. I never understood what he meant, until the day I found out what was actually buried beneath it. My name is Riley, and I'm 17. Up until last autumn, the only scary thing about our farm was the occasional coyote howl or a cow giving birth at 3 a.m. But everything changed when the sinkhole appeared behind the barn. It was right after a week of heavy rain. The ground collapsed overnight, leaving a gaping, perfectly round hole about 10 feet wide. Dad roped it off, muttering about the old irrigation system, but it didn't look like pipes to me. It looked like an entrance. The edges were too smooth, like they'd been carved. And when I leaned over it, I swear the air rising from below wasn't cold or damp. It was warm. Like breath. I tried to tell Dad, but he brushed it off with a nervous laugh. Just the earth settling, he said. But he didn't look me in the eye. And every night after that, I noticed him locking the back door twice instead of once. The first night the voices started. 3 days after the hole appeared, I woke up around midnight to the sound of something moving below my window, something big. I froze and listened. At first, I thought it was cows shifting around. But cows don't whisper. And I heard whispering, soft, frantic voices, too many to count, layered over one another like 100 people trapped underground. I pulled back the curtain just a little and saw a faint yellow glow coming from the direction of the sinkhole. The same glow you'd see from candles. Or lanterns. My heart climbed into my throat. I wanted to scream for my parents, but the voices stopped as suddenly as they'd started. The glow faded. And the barn lights flickered on all by themselves. The tunnel. The next morning, Dad acted like nothing happened, but I could see the tension in his jaw. When I brought up the lights, he slammed his coffee down so hard it cracked the mug. I said, "Stay away from that hole, Riley." I heard people, I insisted. And there was light. "There are no people down there," he snapped. "Do not go near it." He almost never raised his voice. So I stayed away for 2 days. But curiosity is a rotten thing. It grows until you can't ignore it. On the third night, when my parents fell asleep, I grabbed a flashlight and snuck out. The fog was thick enough to taste. The farm looked like it was sinking into clouds. I made my way toward the sinkhole. No glow tonight. No whispers. Just silence. Too much silence. I leaned over the edge and aimed my flashlight downward. What I saw made my breath hitch. The hole wasn't a hole. It was a tunnel, a perfectly rounded shaft boring deep into the earth, lined with wooden support beams that looked older than the house itself. Someone dug this. A long time ago. My light caught something carved into the dirt wall just below the surface, a symbol I'd seen before. A circle with 3 slashes across it. It was the same mark carved into a strange old stone my grandfather used to keep on the mantle, something he brought back when he served overseas, though he never said where. I was still staring when something moved deeper in the tunnel. Fast. Too fast. I bolted backwards so hard I scraped my palms on the ground. I didn't sleep at all that night. The journal I wasn't supposed to find. The next day, while helping Mom in the barn, I noticed an old wooden crate tucked behind the feed barrels, one I'd never seen before. Mom said it belonged to Grandpa and not to touch it. So of course, the moment she left, I opened it. Inside were notebooks. Dozens of them. Leather-bound, cracked, filled with cramped handwriting. The first page of the top one made my blood run cold. Containment breached again. The voices travel farther each year. Another entry. The things below are growing restless. They remember the war. They remember him. And then? If the soil gives way, we are all finished. I flipped farther. That symbol again. Page after page of sketches. But these weren't like the shape-shifting drawings in the last story. These were faces. Dozens of faces, half-rotted, half-human, with eyes that stared directly at the artist, as if posing. At the bottom of the last page. Never let Riley near the pit. I dropped the journal. My stomach twisted. They knew. My parents knew. The night everything came up. That evening, storm clouds rolled over the farm like something alive. The kind of storm that makes the animals panic hours before the first drop. At 1:17 a.m., I woke to a sound I'll never forget. Screaming. Not human screaming. Not animals screaming. Dozens, no, hundreds, of voices shrieking up from beneath the ground. The house shook. The windows rattled. The lights flickered out. I ran to my parents' room, but the bed was empty. My heart pounding, I grabbed my flashlight and ran outside. The sinkhole was glowing again, this time blindingly bright. The dirt around it was trembling, collapsing inward like something huge was pushing up from below. And standing at the edge of the hole was my mom. She wasn't looking into the tunnel. She was watching the house. Watching me. "Riley," she said softly, "go back inside." "What's happening?" I shouted. Her eyes were wet. Her voice cracked. "We hoped it would skip your generation. We hoped the blood wouldn't call to you like it did to him." "What are you talking about?" Before she could answer, the ground split open. I saw them. Bodies, hundreds of them, half buried in the earth like roots. Twisted limbs. Eyeless faces. Wreathed in dirt and old bones. Their mouths moved in unison, whispering, "Riley. Riley. Riley." I stumbled backward. Mom grabbed my shoulders. "Listen to me," she said. "Your grandfather didn't just serve in the war. He brought something home. A piece of something that should have stayed buried." The ground buckled as if something massive was crawling upward. Mom's voice trembled. "He fed it. Contained it. We tried to do the same." The lights from below turned red. The whispers grew into one single, thunderous voice. "Return what is ours." Mom shoved me away. "Run." The last thing I saw before I sprinted toward the house was my mother being pulled toward the edge by dozens of skeletal hands gripping her ankles. She didn't scream. She just looked up at me and mouthed, "Forgive me. I haven't gone back." That was 5 days ago. Police said the sinkhole collapsed the barn and took my parents with it. But I know the truth. Every night since, I hear whispering under the floorboards. Under my bed. Under the soil. They're still calling my name. And the worst part? The symbol. The circle with 3 slashes. Is starting to appear in the dirt around my new house. I think whatever's under the farm followed me. And I'm running out of places to run.